Your questions about business, career, personal development, and achieving the American dream are more than welcome. Email them to info@makingitnow.com. Now back to more Making It with Tommy and Todd.
OMG Fact of the Week. In 2003, there were 86 days of below freezing weather in Hell, Michigan.
Now, my question, Todd, is who wants to live in a town called Hell?
Boy, I tell you, that's like they take the 13th floor off the elevator.
Yeah.
Like
they need to take that off the map.
You know,
I want to know who originally named that and why.
Yeah. Somebody was.
What's the historical
probably the
basis
86 days
to
of below
this?
freezing weather.
Yeah,
they called it like living in hell.
And they
Living
kept
in
it
it.
that
It's just
way.
cold.
Yeah.
So no offense to people that live there. We're sure that you
Wow.
love it.
Yeah.
And call in, talk to us.
Oh,
And
I'm
next
sure they
time-
hear all the jokes.
Next time someone tells you to go to hell, they mean Michigan. All right.
All right, next up,
The Fix.
you two are reviving the American economy and helping keep it strong. Today you're discussing how to make a career comeback.
Well,
And
yes.
neither of you know anything about that.
Well, actually,
I don't know why I'm asking you.
Todd and I have both had serial careers,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess you could say we know how to make a comeback.
I think I would say that about both of you.
Yeah. So what do you think, Todd?
I think it's the biggest part of it is possibility thinking, because usually when you get a setback in your career, you know, there's a you can get into a status quo where you don't change, where you just say, hey, let's just keep things the way they are, and you can get where you're afraid to lose what you got,
Right.
you know, up to that point.
Yeah.
And you start playing protection, you know, ball before the game's over.
Right.
And you play out the clock, and then you actually get behind. I think that you have to see as possible. A lot of times people need to make a career comeback, you know, they're over 40 or they're over 50
Right.
or those types of things. And then they say, you know, I already have, you know, built up this, you know, the white picket fence and the two kids and the house and the car, and I don't want to risk it.
Right.
And so they just say, okay, I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
So
Well, sometimes, you know, a company goes out of business or whatever, they get downsized, and it's not that they're making a choice that they have to make a comeback in another career, but if they want to be employed, they have to find another line of work. And I think one of the biggest problems is people want to start up at the new career where they left off at the old career. I think of a sales guy I know that was with a big corporation, and he was making like $120,000 a year, and he overnight didn't have a job. They just did away with their sales force, or most of it, and he had to take up, you know, at entry-level positions in other companies, and he really had, you know, $40,000-$50,000 worth of skill, but he wanted to make $120,000 because that's what he was making at the other place, and he had a long time finding another job. But I think you need a plan, whether this is thrust upon you or whether you've planned it or it's just the natural progression of your life. You need a plan. First thing you need to do is get clarity, whether the kind of job you want, the kind of job you aspire to, and so on. Find a support system, friends, family, that kind of thing, that'll support you in making decisions, and people that you can bounce ideas off of, and that kind of thing. And then we've talked about this on the show before, but get a makeover. It really depends how you present yourself. It's really important how you present yourself, how you look, how you speak, and so on. Re-educate yourself. A lot of people don't have modern skills, if you will. So you need to get in there and make sure that you have the skills that are relevant in the career that you want to go into. And then do some research. Every company you go into looking for a job, you should have researched them thoroughly. You should know who the people are, who the decision makers are, what they do, and so on. My very first job, I'm convinced I would have never gotten it had I not done a good job of researching that company. And that was before the internet, long before the internet. where you had to go to the library to find out about companies. So those things are important.
Yeah. I think I call it the 3 Ps, purpose, possibility, and then power. And I think when you get into a position where you want to make a career comeback, you usually are looking for what's your purpose. And I think a lot of times you've been in something that you really is not your passion.
Right.
And so you kind of have to re-find your purpose or find your purpose for the first time.
Yes.
And I think, with that, a lot of times, the old trick of, going to a magazine stand and saying, what's your favorite magazine? And that gives you a hint to like what your purpose is.
Right.
And what do you love doing? And lining up your career comeback more with your purpose so you have more passion and drive with it.
Yeah.
And then you have to see possibility, because if you have a pessimistic attitude about it's not possible to make a comeback, you don't think you can do it, you think time's run out, you think you can't make it happen, well, then you're done. You're dead in the water right there.
Yeah.
And then lastly, power. You'd be surprised how people don't go get the power they need to make the comeback.
Right.
I mean, it's like if you're an athlete, it's go get the training, the personal training or the coaching you need to become better. And if you're in business, you have to go get, whether it be the interview skills or the sales training or the marketing training or the management training, what not, in order to make a successful comeback.
Well, I think we're in a time, Todd, no matter your age, you have to really be open to reinventing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Technology's changing the workplace. The economy's changing the workplace constantly. So you have to be open to reinventing yourself and learning new skills and adapting to new environments.
I think it's the speed of competition is so ferocious now compared to 30 years ago.
That's right.
Or 100 years ago. And so I think you definitely have to be willing to keep yourself up to date and have the power to compete. You're listening to Tommy and Todd on Making It Coast to Coast. We'll be right back.